All right, hi everybody. Geez, what is it here? It's 9:10 p.m. on 25th of March, 9:10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time here. This is going to probably be of limited interest to the community at large. So this one is this little broadcast here, this little brief tutorial. Hope not to go over an hour, but you never know unless people bring questions. This is meant to be really a very basic overview for people that are new to out of the park baseball. Okay, so I mean, if you're a pro, there's probably not going to be a lot that you're going to learn from this. So we're going to go over things like where player photos go, if you want to use those, where to put ballparks, how to use the Steam Workshop, maybe how to set up tournaments, just things like that. Different types of play modes that are in the game, maybe even diving down to minor leagues and stuff. But again, this is all going to be very, very, very basic. This is not going to be a deep dive, but I know more people are jumping on to Out of the Park 26 and having some trouble with just getting around. Let's face it, this game has a lot of moving parts. For as complex as it is, it's something you should expect. So if you're an out of the park veteran, you're not going to find this much of interest. But if you're new, I hope that this helps you. I really, really do. All right. Now, I'm going to do also a caveat here. That a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is if you have the Steam version of Out of the Park 26. That said, um, if you bought this through Fast Spring, in other words, right from the Out of the Park development team, there's a lot that's going to apply to this in terms of ballparks and things like that and images. So those things will apply. But the workshop, this is all. We talk about the workshop, which we're going to in a few minutes. This is first the Steam version, okay, which is what you're looking at. This is Out of the Park 26 on Steam. And I'm going to bring up my Windows Explorer first because that's really, really important. Because the first thing that you need to understand is where things go in Out of the Park baseball. All right, so let me just get to my Steam directory and we'll get started. If somebody comes in, you have some questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Try to stay as focused as we can on this thing, however. Ask questions. I'm not trying to go off in too many tangents or anything like that. Okay? So, obviously, you're going to go to your Steam directory, and then you're going to go down to Steam Apps and Common. And again, feel free to pause this if you're watching this after the fact, just to see. You can see I have not all my Out of the Parks here. I have more of them on my C drive, but I'm going to go to Out of the Park 26 because that's what we're talking about. Okay, fire it up here. And then data. All right, so here is where pretty much everything lives in Out of the Park baseball. Okay, um, so backgrounds. I'm not going to worry too much about backgrounds, anything like that. The main thing I think that people are going to be wondering are going to be things like ball caps, stuff like that. So ball caps are stored where it says. And what these are basically is when you're designing ball caps, and also thanks to Mike Silva's mod, all this good stuff in here when you're doing uniforms and you want to design whatever. We can see here there's a PNG file for the Detroit Tigers of 1920. I can just bring that up and show you really, really quickly. It's going to look like a kind of a piece of Dali-esque art. See if we can get this to come up. Come on, you. Come on, you can do it. There we go. That's better. So it doesn't look like a lot, but it will make sense when you're playing around with ball caps and stuff like that. So if you're creating a season, you're doing a season replay, and no matter whatever era you're going to, you can actually find these templates. And the only thing you really have to do is change colors. These will automatically work. Okay. All right. So that takes care of ball caps. All right. Let's go up another one. Ballparks. This is the big one. This is the big one. This one in player picks. Let's go to ballparks. So when you get Mike's ballparks mod, this is what you're looking at here. So this directory is under ballparks and then models. And you can see there's a lot. So not only Mike's ballparks are in here, but ballparks also from A.S. Rivkin, from Flying Canuck. So a lot, and there's a lot I haven't installed yet. And then with each one of the ballparks, we'll talk about in a moment how you work with these files. And this is especially going to be helpful for those of you who bought this via FastSpring, or as that is to say, directly from Out of the Park Developments. Okay, so we'll come back to ballparks in a moment. All right, baseball cards, colors. Again, now database. A lot of stuff that we're not going to worry about too much here. I just want to show you where some things live. This is the default databases, all these databases and stuff like that for Out of the Park Baseball. Okay, let's go back up. I know this seems crazy to kind of look at these things, but I think it's really important. Here's where jersey fonts would go. And again, you can see here, there they are. So jersey fonts, these are things that you can load in with the game. Again, we got to thank Mike Silva for all this hard work. And when we get to the workshop portion, I'm going to show you how to install his mod. So just as for ball caps, we also have jerseys that are loading in. Okay. Again, if you have Mike's mod, you'll see. Let's look at the Boston Bees here for 1940. Just so you know, there you go. You can see the nice little. There's the buttons. There's the Boston Bees logo. Gives you the color. This is made with Uniform Maker, which you can find out there. Okay. So no need to dwell on these things. This is again just to remind you where things live. Okay. Logos, pretty obvious. We all love logos. Great places to get logos. And also there's the new embroidered logos as well. This is a workshop item that again you can just download and put in your logos directory. Okay, so all of these are in here. So we'll just say thanks, Mike Silva, all the way through. How's that sound? Okay. We can see just all kinds of stuff here. Let's bring up a little PNG file here for maybe a couple of these, or maybe just one. So just so you can see what they look like. So if we bring up the Hanwha Eagles, for instance, let's bring this picture up. There you go. There's the little logo for the Hanwha Eagles. Okay, you can find your logos just by loading in from game. Okay, it's pretty simple. A lot of these are OI files that you actually have to open within Out of the Park Baseball. So we're not gonna worry about those. Just so you know where they live. Okay. All right, pants. All right, now here we go. Photos and pictures. This is the one that kind of trips everybody up a little bit. Um, just because you would think a picture is like where the player picks go and stuff like that. That is not where they go. All right. It's not where they go. So we're going to go to photos. There's a little README, which I'm pulling them from elsewhere, so we're not going to pull those in yet. But this is you got to make sure that your photos are going in the photos directory, not the pictures directory. And I can show you that in a in fact, let me just show you an Out of the Park 25. How's that sound? Okay, just so you can. I want you to see the difference. It's really important. Okay, so let's go to Out of Park 25. The directory structure all works the same. So go to Data. And again, this is just because I haven't done all of these yet. Okay, so there they go. So player photos, here they are. And actually, what I'm going to do, just to show you, because I like to work with real. I don't use FaceGen. I'm not really a big fan of it. I know they've done a lot with it, but because one of the foci of this channel is to sort of highlight all these. I want people to know what players look like. I trust this a lot better. So what we're going to do is copy these over. This is how you can do it from an earlier version of Out of the Park Baseball. We got a couple people watching, so that means hopefully a couple noobs, and that's cool. And noobs is a good thing. Nothing wrong with being a noob. All right, everybody's a noob at something once. Last I heard, Paul McCartney wasn't born a bass player. Okay, so now I've got these all copied. All right, and we're going to go back up, and I'm just going to put them in Out of the Park 26, where they go. All right, and data. And I need to actually upload or update this too, because it's just not, it hasn't been updated. So there's only about 35,000 players here. There's actually more. We'll let this paste across. So while this is doing that, I should say that a lot of people get freaked out by this game just because there's so much going on, right? You've got every major league season, 1871 to present. You've got all the minor leagues in here. You've got some international baseball, and you've got a ton of game modes. Corey Highfield, he says hello. How you doing, Corey? I don't know, Corey. You might find this a little bit boring, but thanks for coming in. This is very, very, very newbie stuff here for people new to Out of the Park Baseball, to kind of take a little bit of the edge away, to not be so afraid of it. So just remember, player photos. If you're going to use real player photos, they go in photos, not pictures. Okay, this is almost done. It's copying quite a few here. So we'll just give this a minute to finish up, and then we'll keep going. So Corey, I hope you're doing well today. And I'm going to give a shout out to HField07, by the way. He's been working on a really, really cool kind of all-time greats mod. It's not done yet or anything like that, but definitely, I know he frequents our family here, so I want to thank him too, along with Mike Silva, Mike Garland, Lansdowne Street, all the great content creators. Okay, so there we go, and we're moving. How many? Yeah, see, okay. There we go. We're moving 45,000 pictures over. So what Out of the Park Baseball will do? So of course it's doing well. Thanks. Hope you're doing well yourself. Yep. Got in from work, got changed, and it was just sort of bugging my mind all day that this thing just released last week, and more people are coming to Out of the Park Baseball because of its visibility on Steam. So I thought, why not do a little primer? And it is really, really basic. We're going to cover a lot. So the idea is just kind of move through the video, find the areas that you want, and work with them. Once I learn how to do those little, how you do in a YouTube video, how to cut and edit and like go to, so you can jump to different points along the little line that goes there or whatever. I'll start adding those to my videos when I'm doing tutorials. So, wow. So this is that awkward moment where we just wait for this to get done, and it's moving a lot. Doesn't matter how fast your computer is, Windows just isn't fast. I'm doing this on an older GTX 1660 Ti laptop. So again, that's a fast graphics card, but this has nothing to do with graphics. Got another computer, a newer one with an RTX 4070 Super in it. But this is something that's just a throwback to Microsoft data transfer, and it is what it is. So just got to wait for this to happen, and then we'll get into the game proper after showing a couple more important folders that you really, really do need to know here. Okay. Um, really, this game is worth it, and I think once we talk about the game modes and clear about what they do. Now, for deeper tutorials, we can do those if there's a request for them. Certainly, there's so much you can do in game, but let me reassure new players to Out of the Park Baseball, you do not have to be overwhelmed. There's a lot of easy points of entry into this game that that you can do, and we will talk about them. You want to do a season replay, they are super easy to set up. You never ever have to really go into advanced mode if you don't want to. Advanced mode's great though if you want to get into the nitty-gritty. It's also good if you want to create feeder leagues for an existing league. Most of the time, though, when you're doing just a strict season replay, you're not going to mess with that stuff. You're just going to pick your year, boom, go. And thanks to Mike Silva's mod, um, it's going to have the proper logos and the proper ballparks and the proper uniforms all ready to rock for you. So pretty simple to do. Tournaments are super easy to do. Even installing mods, super nice. Waiting for Mike Garland to hopefully move the integrated mod over into Out of Park 26, and if he doesn't, I'm going to just try to, or from 25 to 26. If not, I'm going to follow his directions and see if it'll just work in Out of Park 26. I don't know how many changes they've made. I have beta tested this version of the game as I did last year, but I didn't get into that part. I was kind of looking at some other things, so we'll see. But there's also already tons of ballparks and stuff up there now, and logos and stuff in the Steam Workshop. That again, the reason I'm showing you those folders is if you didn't buy the Steam version, just copy the stuff. So if you see a mod for ballparks, put it in the ballparks models, and you got them all. In fact, when I used to wait for Mike to put up his ballparks mod, that's what I did. I would just copy them, just like going crazy. But it's why I like to say to get the Steam version, even though the developers have to take a little bit of a hit, is that Steam keeps your game updated automatically, just as it does every other game in its database. So that's really nice, and it's a great way to just install mods. Now, that being said, there are mods out there that are not on the Steam Workshop. So that Myths League that I've been tweaking is something not on the Steam Workshop. You have to actually go to the Outlaw Park forums and look for their roster packs and stuff like that. I would also suggest that if you're new enough or you're veteran enough with Out of the Park baseball, so let's say next year Out of the Park 27, right? Because don't like remove Out of the Park baseball from your account. That would be kind of silly. You still need that there, even if it's not installed, because you need the directory structure to be able to move players over and things like that. So unlike Action PC Baseball, where there's a real nice just import park assignments, this works a little bit differently. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there here. We're about halfway through, just trying to find stuff to talk about. A lot of projects that you can do, and I mean, for its price, it's at full price now. I think it's $49.95, but what you get in this game is incredible. I will say that just like anything like this, anything that's sophisticated, and I'm going to use an analogy. I'm a musician, so I could choose to just buy a keyboard, and it's going to have just all these preset sounds, and I can have some good pianos and violins and guitars and all that kind of stuff, and I can just play. But if I really want to create my own sound on a synthesizer, and synthesizers these days are incredibly powerful. I can't be afraid to go in and get my hands dirty, to move beyond just playing those included, whether it's a sample based instrument or maybe it's just a basic or kind of an analog where you have a sawtooth wave, a triangle, square, pulse, and sine, right? But it's when you start going in and you're using modulators and using different kinds of envelopes and stuff. That's how you shape sound. Well, it's much the same with games like Out of the Park Baseball and Action PC Baseball, and any sort of baseball that's got a lot of customization to it to get your hands dirty. But you do it in increments. When we get to Out of the Park here in a moment, for those of you who are very new, you're probably saying, "What the hell do I do? Oh my God! There's this, there's that button, there's options upon options upon options." And people shy away from it, and I get it. I've been an out of park player since the first edition in 1999, when it was very DOS, but it did have Sean Lehman database, which is there's another boy. That guy, talk about a hero in the baseball sim community. He changed it all with that database and allowed games like Out of the Park Baseball. and Dombrov Baseball and Digital Diamond and all these others to basically give us all these seasons. I mean, prior to that, you had to buy either Baseball for Windows or Old Time Baseball to get like a scat of seasons, or play the freeware Strategic Baseball Simulator, and then, but that opened the door. Yeah, we're going to replace the README. We don't care. All right, good. So we are now there. Okay, so now if I open Photos, theoretically speaking, all right, it's not behaving itself. Let's give it a second here. And hopefully we didn't run into a crash. Doesn't that? Looks like, there we go. Looks like we're all right. Let's bring this back up. Yeah. So apologies, this is micro shaft madness. Yeah, everything's kind of locked up here, so we're going to go ahead and just close this. All the other ones, let me see if we can bring this back up, because I do want to, oh yeah, there is something back there that's yelling at me. Let's see what's yelling at me. Oh, there we go. All right, so this is just Steam. Let's close that and bring this back up. All right, good. Good. Philip Reynolds, how you doing, buddy? How's the job going? Hopefully it's going well for you. And why is this being like weird that it won't let me bring up Windows Explorer? That's very, very strange. It's almost like there's something else going on there, and I don't know what. Wow, weird. All right, well, you know what? We're not going to worry about that. We're going to go into the game. So when it loads, this is one of the first things that you're going to see. And before doing anything, you do want to get mods. You go to Workshop Central. Okay, these are the ones that I've done. Okay, and if you look on the Steam page, you can see what's available. So I do have the two essentials are the historical stadium mods and the historical uniform mods. Definitely get those. Those are the ones that are done by Mike Silva. If you get nothing else, get those. But that being said, these other mods are incredible. So AS RevKit, in other words, gives you these really cool kind of jazz age and 19th century ballparks that Mike hasn't maybe in his humongous collection. Flying Canuck gives you a bunch of ballparks from around the world. So I think this is going to be fun for World Baseball Classic and stuff, which is new. This is something that's beautiful, embroidered MLB team logos. So you guys remember, right? These look knitted, these look embroidered, really super cool. It says may have to change departments due to having to pick up a wife in the mornings. Well, sometimes we got to do, my friend. So I know you'll figure it out and you'll soldier it through, Philip. Check out that channel, guys. Anybody catching this on the flip side, just subscribe to all these channels. This is such a great family that we have here on YouTube. All right, now for Steam owners, you know that usually if you go to a game and you subscribe to a mod, it just downloads it, and when you fire up the game, it's ready to play. Okay, that does not hold true with Out of the Park Baseball. So, like you will see the list of what you subscribe to, but Out of the Park does things a little bit differently. So it will say this item is downloaded. So click here to install or reinstall. I'm not going to reinstall, but that's what you would do. The first thing after you subscribe to the mod, you're going to see this. So you would click this. All right. And you can also look at its folder, and we can see all the kind of stuff for that. Okay. So just make sure to do that, and then once you do that, close. So this one is why I say it's essential. It's every ballpark from 1901 to the present. Mike has also sneaked in some few 19th century parks. Same with historical uniform mod. This is brilliant. This includes virtually all uniform variations from 1901 to present. That being said, I would also suggest getting these mods. They're excellent. Okay. Once you've done that, and you've downloaded it, will install and everything. After you've installed it, you can close this and you're ready to rock and roll. Okay. So Philip says he's been working on Dice United 2 Soccer. Cool. Or as folks from My part of the woods would call it football. So nice. Nice, nice, nice. All right, so this is the screen you're greeted with, and it doesn't look scary at all. So you can continue a game. So this is going to remember the last game you were playing, in this case, the Myths League. You can load games. So these are games, anything that you've created, and I have everything in here except a tournament. And I'll show you guys how to do a tournament really quickly. Super easy. I don't think this one, I have to knock this one out and fix it again. So, but you can see here I have like, this is one of Mike Garland's great mods that he split up baseball into 20-year and 10-year kind of bits and bobs, if you will. So classic teams, great stuff. Here's a 1967 replay. This is a drive for the pennant done in 2013. This is the 65 Twins, another replay. This is Pittsburgh Pirates 2015. Um, here's the Myths League, which is my favorite, and here's another one of Mike Garland's, his classic teams, 1970s. So this is where you go to rename. You can open folders and stuff like that to see. So if I go to the 65 Twins and I open the folder for the Twins, there we go. This is everything that I need, including the most important thing is the world DAT file. So if you ever get a mod that's not working, so it might be because that world DAT file is not in. So be careful when you go to the if you like have Out of the Park 26, you download a mod for Out of the Park 20 that was made for 2023, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work. So kind of like Diamond Mine Baseball, if you want to go in and you want to get some of these older mods, this Myths League that I play had its beginnings in Out of the Park 24. Then you import into 25 and then into 26. And you tweak all you want. It's not really similar to what it used to be. Okay. Anyhow, that's not too scary. We don't know how to load games. But now we get into, let's go to new game. So there's lots going on here. Lots going on. So standard game, this is when you're going to be playing, you're going to be playing right along with the 2025 season. So when you click this, you're in. You're going to pick you're going to pick the team that you want to manage, and you're just going to play right along. And it's a lot of fun if this is something that interests you. This one really doesn't need a lot of explanation. But I'll show you really. So I just say continue with new game. I'm going to cancel out of it because I'm not going to really play with this. So here's where you can play, though, Major League Baseball. You can play Korean baseball, Major League Baseball partner leagues. So these are going to be like the Frontier League, Pioneer League, American Association, Atlantic League, what have you. Here's Dutch baseball, Honkbal Hoofdklasse, which means Major League Baseball in Dutch. Here's the British National Baseball League, and a new addition this year, the World Baseball Classic, which you can play the qualifiers for the World Baseball Classic leading into the main tournament in 2026. So you can have a lot of fun here. You can do live start. So the live start option begins the game on the selected date with updated MLB, KBO, and minor league baseball regular season standings, stats, ratings, and transactions. For more advanced options, please use the new custom game feature from the Out of the Park main screen. Okay. You can also do a 2024 off-season start. You can name your game. So this is where World Baseball Classic exists. This is where some of the other fun stuff exists. Okay. Next one is the historical game. And I don't use challenge mode. I'm not going to go over this, but this has to do with just, you can read it yourself. This is not really for noobs to worry about right now. I just don't. I just play a new game. All right. So here we are, and we're going to discuss these different game modes. And I think this will help sort of clear up. There's Aaron Reed. Philip says his Cincy club is 1 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses, 6 MLS points after 6 games. And the Football Club of Dallas is 1-0 after 1 game. They trounced Houston 5-0. All right. So teams go back in Out of the Park baseball to 1871. 1871, which was the National Association. It's actually called the National Association of Baseball Players. It ran from 1871 to 1875. It was really kind of weak, and the owners came in and created the National League of Baseball Clubs. So what we know is the National League. But this goes back to 1871. There is a mod here that actually you can find on the or on the Out of the Park forums where you can actually play the 1869 and 1870, right? The Cincinnati Red Stockings, if you wanted to. All right, so that's why I say you have the entirety of Major League Baseball right here, right in this one. Baseball Dreamland, yeah, there we go. Yeah, but in tournaments only to 1901. So Baseball Dreamland, there's another great channel, by the way, and his third time in he gets a wrench. So he's done some great things, including wish lists for Out of the Park Baseball, all kinds of things. Really, really a fantastic channel. So guys, check it out, check it out, check it out. Now, Philip, to help you out too, the demarcation line for what most baseball historians call modern baseball is 1893. So if you hear me use the term modern baseball in a general sense, I'm talking about 1893 forward. That's kind of when a lot of the big the 19th century is marked by baseball going through all different types of rule changes and everything like that. One time it was a pitcher's box, not a mound, and it was only 45 feet away from a home plate, which literally was a plate and wasn't shaped like home. It was a right. It was a metal diamond that was down into the ground. Right. There were different stolen bases meant different things depending upon the year or span of years in the 19th century. Walks, wasn't always four pitches for a walk, and strikes, and how the foul strike rule. Wee Willie Keeler, one of the people responsible, well, he is the person really responsible for the foul strike rule in baseball. So 1893, everything is pretty much settled and is largely, except for Rob Manfred's nonsense, largely the game we play today is 1893 forward. Still, I think it's fun to go back and play in the 1880s and things like that. Oh well, hey Dwayne, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Well, it's well earned, Baseball Dreamland, hell of a channel. So guys, please subscribe to Baseball Dreamland. Again, guys, this is very basic, super basic. All right, so we got play modes here, baby. We got play modes here. We got 5 of them, and they are awesome, just in historical. So, Drive for the Pennant mode. This began life last year as just a way to play with, and that last year, right? So the 2024 season, and you were playing as a GM, but you'd be thrown in as a field manager in some crucial game situations. So I and others wanted this. Oh well, there we go. Things kind of flying off shelves here. I'll fix that later. Anyhow, uh, to be able to play this in any season in Major League Baseball history, now you can do that. So it's super super cool. It's a more limited mode in a way, and I think it's fun for veterans, but I also think if you're really really new to the game, if you do Drive for the Pennant mode, basically you're managing one team. That's it, and you're largely doing GM stuff, and it will throw you into field managing situations. So that way you get a taste of it. It might be like I don't know. I'm just picking up something here. It's the top of the 8th. Your number 3 hitter's up. He has the chance here to hit first cycle. See if he can do it. Or you're down 2 runs. You got 2 runners on, 2 out. Can you tie the game? It will throw, and they're most of the time they're pretty. You got to get the gray matter working. So I think Drive for the Pennant mode's great. Again, it's more focused. I think it's meant to. I think for new folks to it, just to concentrate on your team and what you want to do. Okay, so it's a great mode. It's fun. It is really really fun. Legend Sports Universe, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you again. You guys know what I feel about that channel. So if you're not subscribed, you should be like arrested or something. So my Buccos first place in the National League Central and the Franchise Stars Baseball League, at least as of last night. All right, so that's Drive for the Pennant. It's fantastic. Okay. Then after the season, what's neat? So think of it as a great way to ease yourself into one of the great ways to ease yourself into this very complex game. And Legends, longtime veteran out of the park baseball, and even mentioned the other night in a chat that he misses out of the park baseball, but only so many hours in a day. The man's, he's an editor. He's got the Franchise Stars Baseball League. He's got his football league going on, and Madden, and all kinds of stuff. So, but Legends comes from this game, so he knows what this thing can do. But anyhow, so let's say you finish your drive for the pennant. One of the nice things about out of the park baseball as opposed to action PC baseball is this is really strong in playing career mode type stuff. So you could choose, let's say that you're doing Drive for the Pennant in 1977 and you finished it and it's going to move on to 1978 and you're like, okay, I'm going to try one of these other modes. You can do it. Pretty nice stuff. Dwayne Martz, hoping Mick and some of the 60s Braves get drafted for season 5, and I'm waiting for Honus Wagner to join the Pittsburgh Pirates. So hoping that's going to happen. I want to see Wagner and some of the other big guns. But the fact that we got some great pitching right now in the Franchise Stars Baseball League, something the Pirates aren't known for in their actual history, I'll take it. All right, now let's go to the next one, default mode. And I'm just highlighting these just for visual, visual reinforcement. So default mode is meant for players who want historical accuracy with some flexibility. Players will be rated entirely on their actual performance, but are not necessarily fixed to their historical teams. So this is one that if you, again, you want to have a little bit of movement in the league, but you still want some accuracy, go to this one, okay? Default mode's cool. Now, for those of you that want a strict season replay, just as it says in the tin, go to replay mode. Meant for players who want historical accuracy. Players will be rated entirely on their actual performance and will follow trends relating to their career progression. Players will be assigned to their teams, and actual lineups and transactions will be used. So replay mode is, I think, a year or two old now. Because before you basically had default mode, career mode, a couple other things. But that was it. You didn't have drive for the pennant or whatever. So replay mode, this is strict replay. I want to play 1905 or I want to play 1934, 78, 2005. It's there. Career mode is excellent. Aims to play through the history from the starting year while letting things play out differently than they did in real life. Players will develop differently than they did in real life, will get hurt, will sign with different teams. Career mode, the best analogy to use another baseball game would be Action PC Baseball. So Action PC Baseball has what's called an alternate reality mode. This is similar. Interesting draft, hard to follow last year's 19 Hall of Famers entering the FSBL, says Legends about the draft. Career mode is if, and Legends and I talk a lot about this, a lot through chat, obviously, and through some of these baseball chinwags that we have, that I think one of the great things that we have, guys, and I'm really saying especially with digital baseball, so whether it's Out of the Park or MLB The Show or Digital Diamond or whatever, is the chance to create your own narrative. Nothing wrong with seasoned replays, don't get me wrong. Nothing at all. I think it's fun. You saw I have a couple of them up there. That I have a 1965 replay up there to get myself more up to snuff with the 1960s. I'm a dead ball baseball guy, So, and, even 1920s, 30s, whatever. But 1960s, not a good decade for me. So I need to learn more about it. But career mode, the cool thing is creating your own narrative. So I don't think Legends is going to mind if I use his league as an example. So what's been happening in the Franchise Stars Baseball League we've seen is you're getting these incredible stories of the dominance of the Giants, of the A's, of the... Now let's not finish setting up. right? So in my estimation, not only are you learning more about players, learning more about these franchises, but Melot coming through clutch in some of these games last year, in the postseason, for instance. These are narrative stories that we're creating, and I think that what we do as gamers, whether we're playing a baseball game, any sports game, or whether we're playing something like Age of Wonders or Total War Warhammer or Diablo or Path of Exile, we are creating our own narratives, and that's the beauty of it, and I love that. Do they still have the setting? And I'm a bit off touch out of Park at this point. Where you can set how close to their real career. There, yes, that setting's in here. That's kind of beyond the scope of this, but it's here. It is definitely here. So I would suggest you guys what you do with career mode, and this does not mean you have to go back to 1871. You can set the year that you want to start and go forward. So maybe you're like, man, I really don't care about baseball. Like if you're ID Jester, I don't care about baseball before 1980. Okay, well, start in 1980 and move forward and watch how it plays out. Do trades, do whatever. Player Development Lab, we'll get into that in a little bit. Finally, random debut mode. Random debut mode is kind of it's different. So this is the ultimate fantasy mode. The rosters and players in the game will pull from history. Some players may only debut later in their careers. It's a good mode, but the consensus among out of the park players is it still needs a lot of work. I would say that if you just feel like you want to be Dr. Victor Frankenstein and you want to just have some fun and just be goofy with it. Random debut mode is cool. You never know. You might pull Babe Ruth from 1921. You might pull Babe Ruth from 1934, right? So, or 1935, right? The last year of his career. So you don't know, and you can keep running it and running it. This is the one that I really don't mess with too much, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool just to draft and stuff like that and have some fun with it. But I would say for the most part, I would say um, these four guys are going to give you a lot of fun. So the easiest way in point of entry of this is going to be drive for the pennant. If I were to rate these, easiest point is going to be the drive for the pennant mode, followed by replay mode, followed by default mode, and then career mode. So in that order, from the easiest to the most difficult. Random debut probably wouldn't mess with it too much. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and cancel because we're not going to worry about setting anything up at this. But let's go back to new game. Again, custom game. This is the one that I love the most because this is where you can create what you want to create. So here from real world, if we click on real world, all right, so you can just choose Major League Baseball partner leagues or Korean baseball organization. So Major League Baseball is going to be this year. Okay, so let's go back. Fictional. This is where you can go crazy. So this is a robust way in which you can create leagues to your liking using different teams from different eras. You can create fictional teams, draft real players. You can have all kinds of really, really cool stuff like that. So you could do maybe if you just wanted to do a 1975, so something as simple as doing a 1975 National League, boom, you could do it. If you wanted to do playing a bunch of teams, let's say that you have another baseball game that has like franchise best 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s. You could duplicate those leagues in here if you want to. Um, there's so much that you can do with this, which is really, really nice. You have a healthy selection here of kind of templates that you can use. You can also customize deeply here according to the divisions that you want, um, all the way down. All right. So that's what this does. And maybe we'll get into this one a little bit more just because I love it. Let's go back to our previous step. So historical, this one is again kind of what we've kind of shown here, but if you go into advanced mode as you move along, this is where you can create feeder leagues and stuff like that. Again, not that I don't know how to do it, it is beyond the scope of this tutorial. Okay. Um, Now let's go back because this tournament is blocked out. Okay. The reason being is you already have to have a regular league to add a tournament or winter league. But I'm going to show you a different way to do tournaments. So let's cancel. That's something that gets a little bit trips people up. It's like, well, I just want to create a tournament. Well, the way you do that is a different way. Okay, so again, we're going to go to new game and tutorial game. New quick start game. Here is another easy point of entry into this crazy. Yep, Alva Park is daunting but worth it. Thank you. Thank you, Legends Port. It is. It is definitely worth it. And so the other idea of this little tutorial here is to show you guys that while it's daunting, and I'm sorry for the people that live downstairs have like 8 billion dogs, so I'm sorry if you're hearing that. I love dogs too, but not in massive herds like that, and certainly not little yappy dogs. I love them, but yeah. All right. New quick start game. So this is really super easy, guys. You can see I have a number of quick starts here. Um, I'm going to give you a little bit of a caveat. Do not use the all-time greatest league that comes with Out of the Park Baseball. Grab one of the ones from Out of the Park 25 or 24 that you can find on the Out of the Park forums and use those. This is so bad. Ernie Banks isn't on the Cubs. There's a bunch of other problems. Has Evan Meek as an all-time great Pirate. There's just a lot of problems. Don't use this. Find another mod. If you want the one I'm using, I will zip it and put it in our Ned McGreevy League. These classic MLBs here that you're seeing, these are from Mike Garland, created these. So if you wanted to play baseball and you're like, well, I want to play between 1980 and 89, you would click this, load the quick start, and it's ready to go. Just give it a name and you're ready to go. Quick starts are really, 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 really nice to do. It even gives you out of the box the 1994 season. Everything is set up nice and tidy for you so that you don't have to worry about all the cogs and sprockets and belts and wheels and everything that this game necessarily has. All right, finally, we go to historical exhibition, and I think this is one that a lot of people will like. Dwayne Martz is using this in his World Series project that hint hint Dwayne haven't seen in a while. Those aren't dogs, those are squeaky toys. No kidding. Dusty Crevice. There's a name to conjure with. Welcome to the family. Says got into Out of the Park 20. Was looking at the new version. Tried to buy it before the end of the sale, but just missed it. And you haven't pulled the trigger yet. That's okay. You know what? If you're not ready to spend $49.95 on a game, wait. This goes on sale. So I've seen this thing as low as $10. Again, for what you get, I think it's a steal even at full price. But man, you know, it's you know your wallet, you know your credit cards and everything like that, and you know what you're ready to play. And if you're still having trouble with Out of the Park, if you're still having fun with Out of the Park 20, you're golden. There's a lot that's been added to the game, though, a lot since Out of the Park 20. So I do hope that you will pull the trigger on it at some point. All right. Tournaments are a blast. So we saw before in fictional leagues how we could create a whole bunch of however a league that we wanted, like teams from all over eras of baseball and stuff like that, but play them out as an entire season. This is very, very different. So one of the easiest things that you can do here first is you can select any World Series. So what's been added now is we have the analytics years. So they're breaking baseball into I think pretty logical divisions. So, if you're looking for a world's, let's say you want to play, you can see the year ranges here. So if I want to play the 1946 World Series. And actually, Nate had asked about the 1934 series as a request, so maybe we can just set that up now. So let's go to the 1934 World Series, Cardinals Tigers. Okay, and there you go. So I know it's hard to see the Detroit logo. It's blue. I like the dark skin on Out of the Park Baseball. Gives you a nice recap of 1934. As you get into more recent baseball, you're going to get league breakdowns. Okay. Now, from here, you could flip the teams. Okay. So historically, it's Detroit, right? It's this way, but we could flip teams around. If you wanted to make this into a 9-game World Series, the way they did back in the dead ball era for some of the years, you could. You want to do a one off, do it. 3 games, for like a DS, an ALDS or an LDS, do it. A championship series, the old championship series, the way they used to do it the right way, 5 games. Go for it. However you want to do it, you've got those choices. Okay, you could set this thing um, to 1 home, 1 away, 1 home, 2 away, 2 home. There's a lot of choices that you have here. You could have DH on or off. I don't mess with it. Okay, so we're gonna, and then all you do, if you want your active roster limit, you can have anything. You can from no limit, 15 players to no limit. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at 25 players. And for this, I'm going to disable injuries. And if I just do create exhibition, this is how easy to replay any World Series in history. That easy. Now, I'll caution new folks that this is kind of, I don't want to say a bolt on because that sounds very low rent. This works kind of separately from the main game. So understand here that you're not playing out as a season. This is what it says on the tin, and this is going to be, this is a very small tournament, obviously. This is really what it is. Okay, so once we go here, you can go in, you can look at your lineups, you can change whatever you want before you actually start your World Series. Okay, these look pretty much right to me though for 1934. So we're looking here at the Tigers. Let me make sure that the Cardinals look good, and indeed they do. And this is ready to go. If we go to, we have our teams and rules here, but let's go to play ball, and we're ready to go. We got Schoolboy Road, Dizzy Dean, ready to start game one at Sportsman's Park. So there's your 1934 World Series. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and return to this because I'm going to show you another little trick. In much older versions of Out of the Park Baseball, the way you had to rename a season was you had to load in another season, then go back to this, and then rename. Now you can just rename anything. So I just created this. I can click on this and just click rename and call it 1934 World Series, and you're done. Bob's your uncle. Bob's your uncle. Okay, we're getting up to 1934 World Series, and this is ready to go. Some night when Nathaniel's in here, I'll say, "Do you remember when you won the 1934 World Series?" Ready to go. But what else can we do? What else can we do with these historical exhibitions? This is pretty nuts. So you can create, if you are so inclined, up to 70 team a 70-team tournament. Will Tool, haven't seen you in a while. Says Beatles watching from the beginning and wonder if you could discuss the various camera options and settings on the game setup screen. Ever your struggle with figuring out what's what? So you're talking about the cameras when you're setting up your ballpark, cameras in games, stuff like that, right? Yeah, we talk a little bit about cameras. All right. We'll get to that. So you can do 70 teams. Obviously, we're not going to sit here and do 70 teams, man. This will be a 90-hour stream. But just know that you can do this. Have fun with this. You know what great thing? Go out there on the internet or use one of your baseball, and you do own big fat baseball books, I hope some of you. Go out there, research. Maybe you could make a tournament of um, let's maybe the best second place teams. Maybe you want to make a tournament of the worst teams. Um, the world's your oyster. Maybe you want to set up maybe Take some seasons that you love. Take the top 3 teams from that season, throw them in here. Then jump ahead 20 years so maybe you don't want doppelgangers. Maybe the best 3 teams. So let's say maybe you did the best 3 teams from 1927, 1947, 67, 87, right? 2007. There you go, right? So great way to just have fun with it. Um, you can also, I should tell you, that down here you have game era and strategy. So all you're seeing right now here is modern default era. So let me show you what happens by just adding a few teams. And again, we're not going to actually create this, but let's say that we want to make just a tournament of 12 teams. Okay. Now remember, the only era that we have right now, we have you'll see 1956 and 1977. You'll be like, what the hell's going on there? It just pre-fills in these two. You can change them. Okay. So let's do this. So let's go ahead and pick the 1977 Philadelphia Phillies. Again, you don't have to. You can pick whatever you want. Okay. And as far as tournaments go, another little caveat: when you're doing leagues, you can go back to 1871, but tournaments only go back to 1901. But still, from 1901 to now, you can create any damn thing you want, really. So let's leave this at 1977 for this first team, and we'll put in the Philadelphia Phillies. Okay, they're in the tournament. That easy. Let's change this one here. Let's go out. Well, let's change this 1956, and let's go to 1952, and let's put in the Brooklyn Dodgers. How about that? Now, if we look over here in this default modern era, you've noticed since I've changed that to 1952, we can set this entire tournament to 1952 if we want, or we can set it to 1977. But the more teams we add, the more options we're going to have for as far as normalizing our tournament if we want to do that. So let's throw in let's go to the defensive era. Let's go to 1983. I don't know. Let's put in the Baltimore Orioles. And again, down here, now you can see 1983 is added. So lots of fun. You guys get it. You're smart guys. I don't have to go any further than that. You can choose whether to enable, disable injuries. Injuries in game when you're playing the actual game, not tournaments, a little bit deeper than this. DH on or off. You can't choose per team. Okay, that's how you do tournaments. Okay, but we're going to go to our main screen and we're going to talk about cameras and ballparks and fun stuff like that. All stuff in the game option screen right before you go into game. Oh my God. Okay. Whoa, the options. Will Tools asking for the big one now. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a new game so that we can look at game options. How about that? Let's do a new game. Aaron Reed feels so badly. Well, it's not your fault, Aaron. It's not, unfortunately, it's not accessible to people who are sightless. And I hope that there's going to be some way that they can make that happen because, Aaron, I think that you would absolutely love this game and what it allows you to do. It's just incredible. Let me clarify one more thing, guys. You're going to see Drive for the Pennant here. Remember, there's 2 ways. If you want to play Drive for the Pennant and you want to play along with the 2025 season, you want this one. If you want to play Drive for the Pennant and you want to do whatever whatever season, like 1973 or whatever, then you have to go into historical first. Okay, I just want everybody to know that. Okay, let's create a new game and let's just do a historical game, and we're just going to do this as simple as possible. We're going to do a replay, and we're going to pick a year. Let me see here. Let's do it. Let's do something with the Seattle Mariners. So let's go to 2001. Okay, we're going to what you want to do is you want to import the complete history of baseball up to that era. Okay. Now there's a bunch of when Mike Garland's mod is moved over here, you will see other databases. But this is the default that comes with the game, historical database. So I'm just going to confirm that. All right. Now we could go into advanced mode, but we're not. That is beyond the scope of this tutorial. All right, we're already in an hour, so I don't. We go to advanced mode. This is feeder leagues. This is crazy stuff. We'll get into that in an advanced tutorial another day. And we're gonna do a season replay of 2011 or 2001. Okay, we're gonna go to next step. This is the wizard. Really nice. Walks you through everything. Okay, another thing that you really should do is import real minor leagues going all the way back to 1901 using historical transactions, use your lineups. You can do recalcs, okay? So player ratings are going to be recalculated every season, but we're going to be doing just a season replay. Let's just leave this at 1 year for now. Again, other guys like Baseball Dreamland and others can take you deeper into recalc and stuff like that. Okay, I don't use financial settings. I turn these off. I don't care. I really, really don't care about that. So let's just go on to the next step, and then we'll get to game options. We're going to get there. So I want to use scouting. So there's two schools of thought about scouting. We'll talk about this. Okay. Um, you know the players, you know what you're getting. You don't really have to use scouting. Um, I like using scouting actually. I've always had a great, so I put it 100% accurate. This is rating system. Again, season to taste. I like 1 to 100. Baseball's 20 to 80 makes no sense to me. I think 1 to 5 is too small. I, so use stars. This is great, just great sort of visual thing. Now, for me, guys, because I don't use FaceGen, I do no fictional pictures. If you use FaceGen, leave this to all players, where it says player pictures. Okay, coach pictures, I don't care about that. No fictional players. And because I've turned off FaceGen right here, you don't have to worry about the color mode. Again, if you do use FaceGen, you have the choice of normal, black and white, or sepia. Okay. All right, next step. So that, I mean, this is super easy to set up just a season in this game. All right, it's loading names. All right, here we go. So we get to this screen, and we're just going to call this 2001 replay. You can call it Frank. You can call it whatever you want. All right, I like to auto save daily. I just do that. Okay. I do. You can choose to play as GM and manager. You can play as a field manager, just the general manager, or GM and manager. What I suggest that's worked best for me is I like to play as manager, but play in commissioner mode. If you play as GM, you're going to get all kinds of crazy stuff. And again, you might like that, but a certain player has to be put on waivers or do this and that. And you've got to go around, poke around, do that. I think for new players, this is a lot more reward, just easier to do it this way, and I think it's fun. You can control players, edit players. This gives you, as it says here, gives you complete control of your game. So it's not recommended for regular users, only for those who wish to have more control over teams in their game universe. And I like it because by playing in commissioner mode, always a good idea, guys, review all the rosters, review lineups. And if this is a season that you know really well, and you're going to say, well, so and so usually batted wherever, or if you don't know the season and you're using baseball reference and you want to create daily lineups and a number of customized lineups, which you can do in this game, I suggest doing that. I also like cannot be fired. Um, when you play commission mode, you can be the manager of any team you want. Then you can kind of do what Legends does in Franchise Sports Baseball League. Maybe you want to assign some older uniforms to your players, or you want, um, maybe you want the Pirates to play in Forbes Field and not at Three Rivers or PNC Park. So commissioner mode gives you the freedom to have complete control, complete control. I don't mess around with trade settings. You can use trading hard mode, anything like that. I don't mess with that. All right. Then there's your name. There's my nationality, when I was born. Apparently, I was born this time in 1977. And there you go. So, and you could be male, female, or I guess neutral, whatever that means. All right. I'm not going to get into that. Opening that can of worms there at all. Some of it say it's your plumbing, so we'll go with that. All right. We're almost there. We are almost there. And so when you see game options, it's going to be a little scary. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's not bad. We're going to quickly flip through some of these screens, but you really, 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 from this point, once you choose your team that you're going to manage, and that's not locked in if you play in commissioner mode, by the way. Here's Mike's. It's assigning proper logos. Uniforms have already been done. Ballparks are already done. So nice to get this mod from Mike. You don't have to assign ballparks. Super cool. Super cool. Takes a little while. And this is also bringing in all the minor league clubs too. So this isn't just major leagues. This is every team's minor league system is in there. You can see their schedules, all that kind of stuff. Hey, John DFW joining us here for this newbie tutorial for Out of the Park 26. Hope you're doing well, bud. John DFW, playing the Drive for the Pennant mode, playing it in 1993, and hopefully having a lot of fun with it. Sorry if you guys hear a little buzz here. Let me move this over there. That should be better now. Less buzz. So 2001 takes a little bit longer than doing 1905. Lots more clubs in all the minor league clubs. No minor leagues really in 1905. No affiliated minor leagues. So patience, patience, patience. Loving Out of the Park. Nice. You're at the 1993 All-Star break. Okay, so here we are, guys. We are in Major League Baseball. But looky there. Look at this. I could go to let's say the International League, and if I wanted to, I can take a job managing the Durham Bulls if I want to, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Red Barons. There's no other baseball except you're not necessarily managing, but no other baseball game that gives you the complete minor leagues. There's no other that I know of, unless it's whatever. There. So I'm looking. So if I wanted the Toledo Mud Hens, I could manage the Toledo Mud Hens in 2001. Maybe I want to go all the way down to Arizona League baseball. Well, there we go. Can do it. But we're going to stick to the majors. But just so you guys know, if you see this, it just comes to Major League Baseball, and you'll say, "Oh, okay." A lot of guys want to play like Pacific Coast League. There you go. It's there. Play it. Have fun. New York Penn League is there. So you get these lower instructional leagues, rookie league ball, short season A, whatever. It's all there. So we'll just pick the Mariners just because why not? So where are they here? Blah 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 blah. Seattle Mariners, where are you? Where are you? You're in the American League. Why aren't I seeing you? Because I'm blind. There we go. And we can start the game. Boop. Okay. Is Perfect Team viable whatsoever without spending money? Yes, it is. Yeah, actually it is, Dusty. So there's been some uh, misleading reviews on Steam about Out of the Park Baseball. Some people saying it's pay to win. It's not. It's not. So we talk about the main game, Out of the Park Baseball. What is there to pay for? It gives you every season, all the majors, all the minors, all that kind of stuff. Perfect Team. I've watched Mike Silva. I've watched him. He just logs in every day and gets cards. I don't play Perfect Team, but it is viable. It's one of those things. Remember when you were a kid and you went to the store and you bought baseball cards? Back before the collectors took it over and you could just buy the complete sets and just opening those baseball cards. Perfect Team is super cool. You don't have to. And I watched Mike play with a free league, Dusty. I'm sorry, yeah, Dusty. I watched him play just opening cards. We used to watch him on the Discord, and he put together a damn fine team. You don't have to spend a penny to play Perfect Team. There's probably other guys in here who do play a lot. I don't play Perfect Team. I've messed with it, but I can build my perfect team. What I think is going to be a perfect team here, in the right, that big fictional thing that I really didn't. I only showed you guys a little bit because it's massive to me. It's the heart of the game. But yeah, but perfect team, you don't have to spend a penny. You spend $50. Let's round it up. $50. What's it? 5 cents between friends, and you can already do what you want in the main game. And this is the only game that does this. I mean, Pocket Pennant Run has larger databases because it has a lot of different databases. All American Girls Professional League, all of the you know, Negro leagues are in there, stuff like that. But this is the only one I know that gives you all the minor leagues. Digital Diamond gives you um, almost all baseball seasons. You can create any baseball season you want. All right, so here we are, and we're gonna look at game settings first. Okay, so this is the first thing people will look at this and say, "Holy shit, I'm really scared." But if you can see right here, we've already done a lot of stuff here. So you can set the frequency of when you want scattering reports. I usually leave most of this at normal. This is the rating scale. We've already done this. Okay. Show overall ratings, less than minimum red stars. I leave those out. Okay. All player ratings are relative to Major League Baseball. But again, you can if you're playing in a minor league, select that minor league that you're using. Okay. Overall, I leave all this on. Overall ratings based on all players. Show BABIP on player pages. I always leave that on. Coach hiring from other teams. You can do that if you want. I leave it on. Include base coaches. You can if you want. If you want to have base coaches, definitely feel free. I usually don't touch this. Coach cohesion impact. Coaching contract extensions. I don't mess with these because I don't play a lot of. I don't really play this sort of financial. I'm interested in field managing. I don't enable owner goals. I don't care, and I don't play GM mode. Okay, on the other side, autosave daily. Leave it on. Save box scores. All major leagues. Now, what I do is I generate game recaps for all major leagues and generate WPA graphs for all major leagues. Or you can do all leagues. Actually, that's even more fun because sometimes you want to see how your farm system's doing because you can promote players. So you can do that. I want this. I want save game logs, all leagues. I want replays, all leagues. Store replays in pitch by pitch mode. We're gonna leave it no one pitch mode. Highlights, all leagues, and 3D movements, all leagues. Because in out of the park baseball, if you see a game that's been played and it was maybe a no hitter, or somebody hit for the cycle in that game, or it was just a really awesome close game, or whatever, or it was a home run derby, you can watch the game, or you can just watch highlights from the game, and I love that. I like to keep I like to keep all the news logs. I think they're fun. Transaction logs, I don't have trading in this. Okay. Disable storylines. You should disable these. Okay. Because weird stuff can happen. And if you're doing a strict replay, you want this turned off. If you're doing a random debut league, or if you're doing a default mode or a career mode and you're feeling adventurous, go ahead. There was a YouTuber that was talking about that he had enabled storylines on, and I guess the guy was working on an off day or something in his garage and a ladder fell on him or something like that, and bah. So I really wouldn't. I would turn that off. Okay. Again, down here we don't care about this currency symbol, whatever. Okay, let's go to players and team. We're not even into the deep stuff yet, but don't get scared. Don't get scared. This is kind of like, all right, do I want injuries? I don't. So I'm not going to worry about that. I will have suspensions because people are, they can be pains in the asses, right? Suspension frequency, I think normal is good. Do I want to use personality ratings? No, I don't care. I don't care about the morale system. I don't use it. So turn this on and off. Again, season to taste. Now, some people have talked about this batter aging speed if you are starting to play with a more of a fatigue system. Um, that's been suggested to set this number. It defaults. I know you can't see it, but it defaults to 1.00 because I don't have this turned on. It's been recommended to put this at like 0.990. It slows down aging speed, and then you want to speed up batting development speed. So again, different people have different schools of thoughts on this. It's just showing you that it's there. Okay. I do want to, however, uh, I do want to, I do, I want to enable player development, and the reason being is this is one of the new things, and there now everything's lit up. The reason I want this is because while it might be a strict replay, perhaps maybe I'm taking like the 2001 Mariners, and maybe they're not doing as well as because of my managing, or maybe somebody's just not doing so well. Because remember, as soon as you click the mouse to roll the dice, you're in fantasy land anyhow. Thank you, Dave Gardner, for that, and it is true. But I want to develop players. This is especially good in career mode. So I like the development lab, but if you want to disable it, just click and click and click. I'm not going to show you that tonight because it's, again, out of the scope of this tutorial. Okay, but I can change this aging speed so I can put, and this little bit does make a difference, right? And then I could maybe crank this up a little bit. I'm just going to leave it as is. Okay, batter aging speed, pitcher aging speed. Again, I'll set this like 0.990. Okay. Again, you don't have to do this though. Okay, delete players who never reach majors. Um, right, don't use or don't reuse player IDs. Keep left career. This is for in game, like as your season goes along. I do want to keep left right supposed, but only for major league, or else it's going to get really big. Career fielding stats. I do want all that stuff. I'll leave it here. This is where you're going to just check everything. This is your reset for team logos, cap logos, jerseys, pants, all that stuff. You don't really have to touch this. Do you want to You can deactivate uniforms. So you can see, guys, that most of this you're not going to use. Most of this you're not going to use. Okay. You can choose to import. Um, and if it's there, it's going to import all these colors and stuff like that. Right. And let it do its job. So you don't have to worry about this. I'm not using FaceGen, but if you had used FaceGen, you're like, oh, this sucks. You can turn it off right here. Okay, I'm not going to stay on this. All right, this is all FaceGen. Don't care. Let's go to AI settings. If you're playing with trading, you can set the difficulty right here. Reputation system for human GM and trading. Again, if you're not playing as a GM, this doesn't make a difference whether you turn it on or off. Okay, done. Almanac. This is where you're archiving stuff. This is where you're dumping things to files. You don't need it. Database. All right, so database here, this is showing, this is just everything about the database. These are paths to the database. Again, you're really not going to play with this. Look, it's showing the number of cities in the database is 122,348. Do you really care? You don't have to. League settings. This is the scary one. This is the one that people freaked out. They tweaked aging in the latest patch, so that should be now kept at default. Again, just showing guys, and thank you, John, for that, that this is something you can do. And we can go back and fix that too, by the way. Now, you're seeing another whole bunch of stuff here. Don't be scared. How many times have I said that already? You can do a fantasy draft. So you could take 2001, or If you wanted to, let's say you took all those teams, let's say you set up a bunch of teams in a league from different years, and then you played it through, but then, or maybe you've decided, you know what, it'd be really fun? I'm going to dump these guys and redraft them. And the draft this year, beyond the scope of this tutorial, is amazing. You will have so much fun drafting in this game. It's incredible. It's completely overhauled. Um, so you could dump everybody into a draft pool by pressing this button. Do a free agent draft because there are free agents in here. You can delete the league from here, and they get dumped into the free agent pool, and but you don't want it to be deleted. Okay, reset all injuries, reset fatigue, reset morale, all this stuff. All is This is all self-explanatory. From right here, number of ways to get the 3D ballpark construction kit. New feature in this year is it can make random ballparks for you. But if you're playing within a historical season, it will keep close to at least the on-field dimensions of a park that you might create. Again, my I knocked 1 star off this game, and maybe that was a little too much. Maybe it should have been a half star. This will be more fun, I think, once there are more ballpark sections. There's really not enough yet. When you run through these a few times and randomize them, you're seeing a lot of the same stuff. It would be nice if there was at least 10 to 15 choices per section. Then you could go nuts. And I would like to see some sort of older ballpark superstructure in this as well. You can edit, modify ballparks right here if you want. If you realize, hey, wait, I want to do something else with the league structure, edit it right here. You can edit schedule if you want. Okay, but again, because we're doing a replay, the 2001 schedule is ready to rock. Okay, create a logo. You can have a computer manager run on all teams, so the AI will do everything for you if you want it. Okay. Over here, import exports. You can import all rosters from a simple text file. We'll show you that in another tutorial. This is one of the things that Out of the Park's a little bit different. So Action PC Baseball, you buy seasons and you want to import players. It's pretty much point click go. As long as you own the season and you have it installed. This is Out of the Park Baseball. Super easy at the team level. When you get down to the player level, then you're starting to work with, especially with multiplayers, you've got to actually set up the text file externally that you're going to bring in. It's easy. It's just you don't have to. I mean, you got to do some typing, and I do have a little workaround for that, and I'm going to bring that up in the screen. All right. Let me see how I want to open it. Oh, it's the zip file. Hang on. Let me find the one that isn't zipped, so that I can show you out of the goodness of my heart. And I did place this both versions in the McGreevy League. So let me show you this because I think this is useful. So this is here it is. This gives you what player import asks for is the player's baseball reference ID. You don't have to worry about his name. This is his debut year and this is his final year. So if you were bringing in, let's say, Buster Adams, and you wanted his 1942 season, if he played in 42, he might have gone off to the World War II. I don't know. Then you would just put Adams BU, comma, 1942, comma, or no comma, if you just wanted him into a free agent draft pool. If whatever team he played for, I have no idea, you would just then put that abbreviation there. Copy, paste it into another text file, and then there's a way you can import a text file en masse. So let's say you were doing something, and I have to use Legends a lot because he's my hero and these types of things. If you wanted to create a draft pool and then using a random number generator or whatever, you can approximate what he's done, approximate it. Um, so that's another way to just create a huge draft pool, though. Let's just say just draft who the hell you want. Okay. So that's all this is. Okay. Let's go to league and teams. Here I can change the name. Here, this is just about name changing. You can change team nicknames here. Again, all pretty simple. Okay. Rules. All right. I now I normally don't like the DH because we're doing 2001. We're going to leave it on. And the starting pitcher can remain as DH when removed. We'll leave that on. Reliever minimum batter's face. So if you want to do some newer baseball, instead of 1, make it 3 if you want. Modified extra innings. That's heresy. So I turn that off. Allow ties. I do not. If I'm playing the dead ball era, I do. Your active roster size, your call up size, your expanding like your September call ups, you can set here. All right. Um, you can limit foreign players. Why you'd want to, I don't know. This deals with all waivers. You can see here why I'm going through quickly. You don't have to mess with this. Financials, I'm not even going to touch. Options. There you go. You can change the name of like the Cy Young Award. I believe it should be called the Walter Johnson Award. I can change it if I want. I could call it the Dusty Crevice Award if I wanted to. So whatever. Okay. Um, you can change even the number of games. If you want to play 2001 and say, yeah, but I want to play 154 games, it'll redo everything for you. Pretty nice. Game times default again. Hold an all-star game. I suggest you do. The all-star game is really, really fun. I usually turn spring training off. You want to turn it on? There it is. Okay. Lots to do here, but again, I don't think you really have to worry about it. Okay. I'm not going to disable playoffs, anything like that. You can change number of rounds of wild card if you want. You can change the number. You can if you want for your division series. If you wanted to be best of 9, you want to go nuts. Have fun. It is an infinite baseball playground. Okay, but again, most of the stuff you're not going to mess with at all. I've never ever really messed with this at all. I don't care about it. I really, really don't. If you want to do it, this has to do with sabermetrics and traditional out of the park baseball creation modifiers. Some guys really jump into this deeply. I don't. Again, we're already in 2001. This is pretty much fine. Finally, stats and AI. This is where you can do your typical rotations down from a one-man rotation, and that would work if you're playing in 1872. Believe me, they had one man pitching. He was the least important person there. This is for all the. This is like the factors for that year. Okay, so that's that's it. That's the game options. That's what you're looking at. And most of this, again, guys, you are not going to look at all. Okay. Now, let's go into a couple more little things about how to switch around teams, how to look at ballparks, how to understand camera angles, stuff like that. Okay. Now, with Mike's ballpark mod, and let's go to Seattle Mariners, let's go to their home screen. With his ballpark mod, there's a lot of this stuff you don't have to do anymore. You notice here's your minor league system. And we can look in on any of these guys and see who's on there, and these are accurate, by the way. There we go. There's Ichiro, there's Olerud, there's Mike Cameron, Carlos Guillen, David Bell. Everybody's here as you would expect. We said ballparks. We're going to go there first. So when we go to edit ballpark, because that way we can just take care of the cameras. It's important if you're doing a different ballpark. So right now we're looking at Safeco Field. If I wanted to make this Kingdome, I could do it. God knows why with the ceiling falling in and stuff, but let's show you what you do here. By the way, from here we can go to the 3D ballpark construction kit too. But the main thing is we know this is Safeco Field, and the reason that I know that the park effects are in place is because I'm seeing a picture of Safeco Field. From here you can drag and drop fielders and stuff like that. I've never found a need to do that. You can look at picture and coordinates. You can see all the chords in the game, what have you. It's daytime, nighttime picture. Don't really do it. Ball locations, again, something you're out of the park does this really well. I would suggest don't ever touch this. Just leave it where it is. It's cool. Okay, 3D model. So we're going to get a nice, sexy 3D model, and this is where we're going to also be able to look at camera angles. good news for people messing with camera angles is that Mike has given us a lot of camera angles. Now, I don't know if this brought these in or not, but we're going to play around a little bit with it. Okay, and let's see. So you can copy cameras and stuff like that, but we can look here. Look at this. Courtesy of Mike Silva, if you have this mod, you don't have to muck about with cameras at all. You can tweak them. So right now we're looking at, there's our overview of Safeco. Pretty nice, right? Can change any of these things. So let's look at a couple maybe more weird ones. Maybe you want to play something from the first base dugout. There it is. Ain't that pretty? What I would like to see, and I don't know if Out of the Park will ever be able to do this, that I love in MLB The Show is how you can use the controller and move around and control the cameras on the replay. That is super, super, super cool. And I'm hoping that down the line, that might be something that the Wizards at Out of the Park Baseball, Out of the Park Developments will think about doing. The closest you can get to that right now is the dynamic camera if you want to use it and follow the ball. Follow the ball can be strange. The dynamic camera also. So you're going to have to play around a little bit with that. Now, let's say, for instance, this is just for Will Tool, that I want to maybe tweak this first base side camera a little bit. Well, I can use my left mouse button, hold and click. Now look at this. Now I'm more down at crowd level. And I can turn it around. Maybe I want that view, and with my right mouse button, I can kind of just drag. So the right mouse button will move us along an x-axis, right, and a z-axis. The left one will rotate and tilt, okay? So just think of graphs, all right? So left mouse button lets you do the 3D thing, and then your middle mouse button is just an overall z-axis, okay? And then I have two of them actually pressed at once here now, okay? See? This is just middle mouse button. Now if I hold the right mouse button, I can get more finer control. And if I do all three, look at this. So you can really, really play around with this. Once you have the camera wherever you want it, of course you can look at it, you know, a daytime picture, nighttime picture, whatever. You can show where the fireworks emitters are, and there they are. So a little nod there to uh, the natural. Then you can just save your cam. When you click Save Cam, you can create this as a new cam and give it a name. You can just update the current name. So super, super simple. So if I wanted to create, I don't know what the hell I would call this, but if I wanted to create new, I'll cancel this and just give it a name, and you're done. So that's how you work with cameras in this game. Pretty simple. Okay. Um, Here's another little thing that's kind of fun. So way back in the before times, the home team, traditionally, their dugout was in the third base side and the visitors were first base side. So you can change this. So in this park, this is going to be this. But if I turn this off, home team's going to run to the dugout on the third base side, just like the olden days. All right. Um, so you can move dugouts toward the outfield or whatever. Don't know why you'd want to, but I guess you could. There's no, that's really it. The other thing is you can copy cameras to all ballparks. So let's say that you've set up some really, really cool camera angles in this game, okay? And you're like, man, I just want these for all the ballparks. I mean, could you imagine going through 30 franchises and you're trying to get this exact look in every franchise, and then you've got to do it right. You got to do it for the other 29. All you got to do is copy all the cameras, and it will apply them. Again, thank you, Mike, and thank you, Out of the Park Baseball, for doing this. That you can just for every ballpark, and you'll have, and you could call it like first base one or whatever you want to call it, or you want to call it Mary, whatever you remember, and then you can just click that as your default in your game, and you're ready to rock. Okay. Um, the other thing here, when you go to global settings, Okay. So I have this on custom. So on my other computer, I've got audience resolution at high. This is all just graphic stuff. So if you want to mess with it, you can. If you don't want aisles in your park, you can take them out. Okay. Um, that's pretty much it. So wait, if I do this, now there's no aisles in the park. Just that simple. And boop, now they're back on. Hot dogs, get your hot dogs. So going quickly here, I know. Having trouble getting your email authentication. The email isn't showing up in your inbox, and even spam. Oh, so you bought it through you bought this right through Out of the Park Developments, Dusty. Okay. Just they're pretty quick at because I used to buy this game on Steam and directly from them. So just support ticket. They're really fast, man. Well, you got it on Steam and you're waiting for an email authentication. Oh, from Steam. Oh, yikes. Okay, so because usually you just buy it and bam, just go. I've been a Steam user for a long time. I can't even remember what that pain is about anymore. So there we go. Look at that. Woohoo. Um, so that's ballparks. Will, I hope that helps you a little bit. You can set up weather. You can also so for Seattle, if we wanted to actually have the weather of, and these guys are ridiculous, man. I mean, if you wanted to have McGrath, Alaska, you could have that weather there if you want. All right, let's go back to the Mariners home screen. Okay. Um, so you can go to your organization, and this is a great way to just look at players. And you can see this is why I love using real photos of players. I can just mouse over, there they are. Okay. Um, and when you look at a player, let's look at Mike Cameron. So here's Mike Cameron's whole page, and there's a lot going on in here, but this is where you can allow yourself, I think, guys, to have a little bit of fun. Okay. For one thing, you click here. There's his entire major league career. All right. So from 95 to 2011, and you're going to get career highs per season, his career totals, and his average over 162 games. Okay, pretty nice stuff. And if he was a pitcher, we can look at his real fielding stats. But if we go back to batting, if we look here at batting, we're looking at basic batting stats. But if you guys are into the expanded stuff, you wanted to get into things like isolated power, BABIP, all the cool, fun sabermetrics, they're in here too as well. Pitchers even have a little bit more. Okay. And in fact, we should probably pick a pitcher. Up here in the top, think of these little carrots and everything. Just think of it as a web browser, right? So I went through a couple pages of Mike Cameron. There, now I'm back here. Just like you're browsing the web. All right, let's pick us a pitcher. Let's find us a pitcher here. All right. Let's bring here. Let's look at Freddie Garcia. Okay. And again, we're going to look at his real life stats. So we're viewing. So you can do basic pitching stats. So this is kind of like the old Macmillan encyclopedias, except for the BABIP and stuff that maybe closer to total baseball, I suppose. Right? Then you can have expanding pitching stats 1, 2, and then their opponent batting stats for their career. So you basically in this game you have baseball reference. It's in here. It's all in here. Actions will probably you can create notes about players. You can set development focus. You can set game strategy per player and pretty deeply here. I know other games have it too, but if you want to go in and do all this, you can have the AI do it if you want. There's so much to do. I'm not going to be able to cover everything in this. It's impossible. Okay. If you hit this little click between the carrots, if you don't feel like scrolling around, if we want to go back and look at Mike Cameron again, this will keep your history. This is your history up here. Want to look at Safeco Field? There we go. So this will keep your history. All right? All right, let's go back and let's look at the player list now for the Mariners. There's everybody on the Major League Club. This is looking at the active roster. We can look at a secondary roster. We can look at all players in the organization, and you can see things have gotten really big now. Okay, let's just keep this to active rosters. Okay, again, just click and you can look at players. In fact, I want to show you something else that's really amazing about this game. Let's take Norm Charlton, since Aaron's here and he's a Norm Charlton fan. We can look. We can look at his history. So what you're going to see as far as all this stuff here is you're going to see. Let's go back. Actually, let's go back to this, and I want to show you this is a BNN page, which is really super cool. This is going to track through your playthrough everything. So this is right now what he's done in his real major league career. Okay, pretty amazing. Okay, pretty nice. But what also you're going to see in a as you're going through this, when you go into batting stats and pitching stats and everything like that in his BNN page, when this is being played out, you're going to be able to see exactly what he's doing through counts, innings, all kinds of stuff. Super deep. Greg Gorecki, I haven't seen you um, in a way long time. Greg, I haven't even talked about the new stuff yet either in the game, except for I briefly touched on Drive for the Pennant and historical mode. It's insane what they've done this year. This is just getting crazier and crazier, and I love it. I love this game so much. You want to look at somebody's spray chart. So the spray chart will populate again as you're playing. So and you can turn off and on. So Charlton's not going to be a good guy for a hitter. But let's say we're tracking Griffey Jr. or whatever. You can see during your replay where the home runs go or whatever. In fact, let's go ahead and bring up a hitter right now. So let's use our little thing here. Okay, and let's pick up Mike Cameron, and let's have a little bit of a look at Mike Cameron here. Okay, appreciate you guys hanging in here. Again, we can work strategy with him, and again, here's going to be his BNN page coming up. All this kind of stuff. By the way, you can edit players. I don't know if you guys knew this or not. Okay, there's a strategy forum. Here's the development page. This has been completely overhauled for this year, and I do want to talk about this to you guys for a few minutes before we start to wrap it up. So player development is something that is completely unique as far as I know in any digital baseball game. Is the player development lab, and this is especially cool if you're playing in career mode. So let's say you want Mike Cameron to be working on stuff in the off season, um, and you can see here that right now his gap is rated a 70 out of 85. So maybe what I want to have Mike do is work on gap. But the thing is I can't slide this up. Notice I can't slide this up. That's because I have to take something away. This prevents you from making superpower player, right? Because how boring would that be? Okay. So if I wanted Mike to work on hitting into the gap, well, I'm gonna maybe look elsewhere and see where's he good. Okay, his stealing ability is pretty good. So maybe for running, I might want to just subtract a little bit there. You see up here this red line. This is kind of like an RPG. Okay, it's points to spend. So now I can go here, and so then that's going to increase him, maybe helping him to reach that gap. So I want him to work on that gap some more. One of the additions that they've done with the player development lab is you will get a report about halfway through the program that you have your player on, and it will tell you whether it feels that the player is going to be making progress to be able to reach that goal that you want or not. And then you can choose to cut that player out, bring in somebody else. There's also a great screen where you can look at all your players' development in a very, very quick view. That's new this year to Out of the Park Baseball. Okay. There was something I was looking for here. Where was it? Where was it? There is the spray chart. So yeah, so if we'd already played some games, we could see where Mike Cameron was hitting balls. Maybe I'll bring up a 1965 or one of the replays I have going on just so you can see what that looks like. Looks pretty cool. Here will be his game log, and this is going to be everything that happens that he does in this game. You can choose by dates, and teams and everything like that. You can look at his batting versus pitchers, any streaks that he's had. You can do this with every player. His splits. This is just insane. It is just insane. All right. What else here? We can start to play with rosters and transactions. You want to set who you want where. Go ahead. So this is again working with this active roster. You want to move some people from the reserve roster up. You can do it. You can also have all these actions. You can have the AI do everything that you want for you. Okay. My God, what else can you do? Again, there's the roster, injured list when it happens. Then there's your minor leagues. This is everybody in the Seattle Mariners minor league system. And of course, you can just get down and just look at the teams. So maybe we just want to look at the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, and we can look at their lineups. Again, I'm not a Mariners fan, so I don't really know whatever about these lineups. Okay. Um, so you also get, let's go back to rosters and transactions. It's a lot. So take your time in things. Okay. Take your time in things. It's okay. Let's go back to the Seattle Mariners again here. Come on, guys. Come on. Blankers. I could just do this, couldn't I? Okay. There's so much more to show, but I think that we're getting to saturation point. You want to get into waivers and all that. It's here. Play with the game. Don't be afraid, because if you've noticed, anything I've done, I've backed out, I've canceled. You can do that. Okay. Let's go to our strategy and again, our lineups. Nice graphical depth chart that it does. So what's cool about this, super customizable. You want some guys to get some playing time, so Eggermar, maybe you want to get John Olerud some time here at first. So maybe if you want, right, you have a number of choices that you can add in here, and you can do this for every player. And I'm going to show you quickly how to do this for any team and the project that you're doing. If you really want to go in and tinker around with stuff, if you don't agree. So if you think Mike Cameron up there should be the only time that Mark McLemore, right, or Javier gets in there is if Mike Cameron, but you want to give these guys some innings. Certainly before a game you can fix your lineups, but if you want to have, like, if this is another team, or you want to kind of put things on autopilot for a while, just go ahead and play. This is also, you can drag guys around. Maybe I might want to put Mike Cameron also in another position after seeing where he's rated. Okay. This gives you the depth charts. This is a right-hand pitcher versus DH. And then it's going to give you a depth chart for righties, lefties, and then righties, lefties with a DH. So if you're playing interleague play before the National League adopted the abominable designated hitter, this game accounts for that. Pretty nice, right? Surprised Olerud is on the Mariners. There he is. Let's look at John Olerud. Another nice thing, new people. So for new people, everybody's clickable. And there he is. And pardon me. Let's look at his real life stats. And there he is. So 2000. So he was there. Olerud there. 2001, played for the Mariners. Had 159 games that year with them too, and knocked out 21 dingers, I might add. So good reference. So thank you, Greg, for allowing me to sort of again point out the kind of nice reference thing that goes on with this game. You have daily lineups. These that you can, so you do daily lineups here. And these are going to show you the lineups that are coming up as you go through the season. Again, this uses as played lineups and everything like that. You can change lineups. Man, if you don't like the lineups that were actually used and you want to go in and tinker, go ahead and tinker. Do it. Have fun. Um, that's pretty much it. Front office, I don't touch it. Okay. Now we're gonna switch away from teams and we're gonna go to the league level now. All right. So let's first go to our league home, and this is a McGregor heading for the Seattle dugout. Whoopee. Okay. Um, Not much going on here on the home team on the league home, but if we go to league news, this will start populating, and it has a really good AI that writes some really cool stuff here. You can set the importance of anything that appears in here. So if you want to sort of narrow the scope of the game, you can just kind of go in here and just select what you want. Okay, and you can set all these kinds of filters. Again, you can write and edit any news that you want. And here, this will show upcoming league events. And then here's the league calendar. Nothing happening here yet. But there we go. We got opening day and all this stuff. So again, this is league calendar. We're not looking at a team calendar. All right, let's go back. This is now becoming just a tour, guys. This is not, you know. What I love about this here, we can, of course, standings. Here we go, ready to rock with the standings, scores. Um, Nothing here yet. I use these, and I'll show you why in a minute. Stats. This is where you're going to see a beautiful display of leaders. And in fact, what we'll do now is we're going to load a game. Let's save this, and we're going to load a game, and I can show you some of these things to be a little bit more meaningful. Okay. John says that he thinks that Albert Pujols kid is going to be good. Dusty Crevice says thanks for the video. He says referenced in your support email and told them it got me to buy it. Awesome. Thank you, man. So thank you back because that really is nice. All right, let's load a game, and I think I'm doing a lot more with this Myths League. So this is the one we're going to load. Now you get to see how some of the more what these screens can look like. All right. Geez, it's going on 2 hours. I want to keep this to an hour. There's so much to this game. So takeaway is this: we haven't even touched down to scratch the iceberg in this game. Okay, but you don't have to do that. Do a quick start, play a tournament, do drive for the pennant. Don't worry about a lot of the other stuff. You want to dig down and get your hands dirty, ease yourself into this game. You're going to find it rewarding. But if you try to do every damn menu option and everything, you're going to say, forget it, and you're going to go back to playing, something simpler like Baseball Mogul, which is a lot simpler than this game, though it's not simple. Okay. All right, let's look here just very, very quickly. Let's look at our league news, for instance. Look, we got all kinds of stuff that's going on here. Like we get highlights that Dodgers' Dazzy Vance struck out 15 Diamondbacks. I can view the box score in this game if I want to. And then from there, I can actually go back and find this game and watch it again if I wanted to see this. Okay, let's go back. And let's go to scores. I can go back and forth in scores. So none of these games have been played, right? But if I want to go back to April 5th, so notice here, these are all the scores. And again, I can look at box score. I can look at the game log of this game between the Cubs and the Reds. So this is similar to what you would see in like a game recap of just about every other digital baseball game that's out there. Okay, so that's fun, of course. and this does it by count, or, and I'm not going to do this, it will create, there's your box score, of course. You guys know what a box score looks like. I think they are sharp, though, because you get these WPA graphs, which are really, really nice. Nice breakdown of everything that happens in the game. And yes, you don't even have to assign logos. How cool is that? But it also, the game will create highlight reels, or you can watch the entire game um, if you wanted to. So if you saw a game here, like if you were me, you wanted to see the Buccos absolutely womp on the Philadelphia Phillies, then I could watch this replay. Really nice feature, and the game plays out. Like you're just watching the game. So I think it's a nice way to kind of get used to what the game's like on the field. All right. But let's look at a couple players' BNN pages here, just so that you guys can see what's going on. All right. I think Paul Waner's been getting some love in this league. All right. So we can look at Paul's BNN page. So look, here's his game log. Look how detailed this is, guys. And it was hard for me to show that in a league that we just started. So right now, through 6 games, we're seeing just kind of basic stats. But how do you do against lefties versus righties? What did he do this week, last week, March, April? How do you do in exhibition games? This is his career stuff. What do you do on home, road, grass, day, night, as a starter? If you're talking about pitchers here. Um, how did he do with the bases empty with a runner first, second, third, first and second, first and third, 2 strikes, first pitch, all these different counts, whether he's behind the count, in the head of the count, in addition, where he was in the batting order, his low leverage, medium, and high leverages. Just incredible, incredible stuff that you can look at here. Again, I could, if I wanted to go in here and set my strategy for Paul Waner, I can do that. Okay? I think you're getting that it's a lot. You can go to league settings. We've shown you this before, but I want to show you one last thing. If you decide to find this league, what you have before you is Baseball Reference. Here, it really is Baseball Reference. So we can search for a player in this league. We can just look at teams. So let's look at the Detroit Tigers. We can see the Tigers' entire history here. So and then we can just pick a team. We just pick a year. So you can do research right in the game. So here we go. Let's go to 1968. There's 1968, and there's all this cool stuff. Probably more than you ever wanted to know about the 1968 Detroit Tigers. It's all in here. So if you don't feel like messing with Baseball Reference, you can do this. You can look at league leaders, all kinds of stuff, Hall of Fame, whatever. Um, that's pretty much it. I'd recommend Drive for the Pennant for newbies. John, I would agree. In fact, when I ranked those from easiest to most difficult as far as the game mode, I think Drive for the Pennant should be the one you should do first. Then after that season ends, then choose your next mode, and maybe your next mode should be replay mode. So that's the strict replay mode. After doing that, then go to default. Then after default, go to career. And then if you want to try random debut, knock yourself out. We haven't touched on drafting in this game. There's so much that we haven't done. And it would drive you guys crazy. It would drive you guys crazy. So we're not going to worry about that. Okay, been trying to forget about the 68 Tigers since he was a kid, says Greg. I'm sorry, Greg. Here, I'll tell you what. Let's make you forget about him right now. Here we go. We're going to try it. We're going to do a miracle here. Let's look at my Pittsburgh Pirates instead. There we go. Pittsburgh Pirates, 1968. There, it's as if they, right? So you can search here. You can do players. You can do managers. You want to look for managers? You can look managers. There they are. Right, nice little manager kind of thing there. There's the Hall of Fame. And then there's the actual Hall of Fame exhibit too, by the way. These are the ones created for this particular league, and I think they look fantastic. So you can go have a look through there and have lots of fun if you want. But you might also be curious about the voting history of the Hall of Fame. Look at this. Allen Park Baseball gives it to you. 49.95, and look at what you're getting, man. This is insane. It's just absolutely insane, and I still have to be updating my player photos. But anyhow, look at this. So you can see how they voted. So 1946, look at this. Nobody elected then. Miller Huggins came close, but he only had 40.3% of it. Look at Frank Chance here in 1945. 72%, just not enough. Just not enough. So great way to follow that if you want. Let me see what else. Let's go back to our league history again. So, no, let me show you something else because you guys might be thinking, oh, any season I load is going to give me the entirety of baseball. No, no, no. We're going to go to this 1965 Twins, and let's load this, and let me show you something that's really cool about this. I keep saying this is going to be slow and quick. 2 hours, huh? Anytime you want to look at the Cardinals or the Pirates, good with that. How about it, Greg? Damn right. Hornsby, yeah. So, yeah, John Rogers Hornsby, not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Neither was Joe DiMaggio. So there's a little trivia for you. Okay, so guys, in that Myths League, we were looking at the league history. We're going to do the same thing here. We're in a 1965 replay right now, though. Okay, we're going to go to league history and watch what it does. Super, super cool. Looks okay so far, right? But look where it stops. 1964. And there's a cool reason for that. So you're just looking, so great for immersion, but look here, look at milestones. This is showing the milestones that these players are expected to reach in this 1965. So anything after 65, right, they don't exist. So Ichiro's not in here, right? Whatever. So let's look here. Eddie Matthews, he's going to hit his 450th home run milestone, will be in this year. So currently he has 446. He needs 4 more. This gives you a really, really nice, great way to look at baseball history and where you are in your league. And I really, really love that about this. Okay. Now, if I'm right, I think it does the same thing sort of with the Hall of Fame. Tony Kubek, there's a little quote there. I worked in Canada. It's a great city. Says the man who got hit by the throat in the 1960 World Series. So what you'll notice here in the Hall of Fame, there are no Hall of Famers here past 1965. So if you really wanted to go back into baseball and like, okay, what was going on in 1965 and before, this did it. And again, pardon these things, it's because I just got to get pictures of Chief Bender, Grover Cleveland Alexander, what have you. So that is it. Of course, we can go back to, oh yeah, I wanted to show you how to act as any team. Holy shit. Okay, so we go here to the team home screen. There's a couple ways you can do this. So first, to act as a team, I can pick not only all their minor league clubs here for the Minnesota Twins, but let's say for Greg Gorecki, I wanted to I wanted to act as the 1968 or 1965 St. Louis Cardinals. So click them. I'm the Cardinals. And you think, hey, pretty cool. Well, what this basically just will allow you to do is you're playing games. But if you want to actually go in and do some serious messing around with the strategy and lineups and everything of the Cardinals, then what you do is you go up to your name, whatever that is, and I'm, of course, McGregor, that's me. Go to available jobs, okay, and then I'm going to go down here to the Cardinals, apply as manager, and guess what? I am now the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. Now I can go in and I can do depth charts, lineups, the whole thing. So act as pretty much is just you want to play out games. You can do some things and act as. But when you apply, and then I can just go back to the Twins if I want. But if you're like, So if you get that Myths League or you get an all time greats league, even if you use the one that comes with the game, you definitely want to act as a manager. This is what, and you can only do this in commissioner mode. So that way you can do things like correct the egregious error of the one that comes with the game, and actually bring Ernie Banks onto the Cubs because he should be there, or move. Maybe you're not happy with Shoeless Joe Jackson with the White Sox. You want to put him with Cleveland. That's how you're going to do it. We're not going to get into transactions tonight. That's a whole nother thing. Drafting, whole nother thing. But I hope in this 2 hours, I know I've blown you away with information, but we're going to knock it down here because I want this to be manageable, at least, since I don't know how to do those little things in the timeline. Okay. Crazy that Hornsby and Joe D didn't get on the first ballot. Well, I know Hornsby's had to do. I think probably both Hornsby and DiMaggio, the players' relationships with the press, things like that. I'm sure be interesting to look at some of the voting history. Anyhow, guys, I hope this helped you. I really, really do. I'm gonna, of course, go ahead and go back as the Minnesota Twins because that's a team I want to learn more about. The Twins are pretty tough there in the 1960s. So there we go. I've been replaced, and now I'm back and ready to play a game against the Indians if I so choose. Please feel free in the comments to ask questions if you have some ideas about some more in-depth focused tutorials about drafting, about player development, about league creation, about how to import players both individually and from a text file, how to work with exporting rosters and importing rosters and stuff like that. I'll be happy to do that. The only thing I will not do any tutorials on in this game is financials and trading. I won't do that. If it has to do with on field and strategy tactics, stuff like that, or how to create your own projects, I'll be more than happy to do it. Funny story. Phil Rizzuto says Grecky once asked Bill White during a Yankees broadcast what was his biggest thrill in baseball. His reply was winning the '64 World Series against the Yanks. Phil was speechless. I love it. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. I love baseball. So many great stories, huh? So many great stories. So, guys, that's going to do it tonight. No game. I don't think, I don't know if people would want to hang around again. We'd have to start a new stream because I do want to keep this where it is. So, again, in the comments, if this helped you, I'm so glad. Dusty Crevice, you come in here 2 more times, you get yourself a wrench as a thank you. He said thanks. Yep. So yep. Everybody take care. And this is Beatles eternally thanking you. I consider you all family. Until the next time when we do a game or whatever, we'll see you around the batting cage. All right.